Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Live with the Renk show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go right into a quick interview, or I shouldn't say quick, an interview. I always wonder if I should play that bumper that I play at the beginning of the show. Are you ready to rumble right before I go into interview anyone? I hope they don't believe that will be a negative experience. But again, welcome to the Live with Renk show. Before we speak with the Michigan Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Rich Studley concerning Governor Gretchen Whitmer's education initiatives, I like to start the show off with some feel-good news. And this was a real good feel-good news. A man in Alabama is sharing a heartwarming dinner with an elderly woman and his friends. The man saw an elderly woman sitting by herself in Alabama. I said that already. Sitting by herself eating. So he walked over to her and asked her if she would like to eat with them. Now, these are three young, if it matters to you, black men and an elderly white woman. The woman allowed him to sit, and they chatted for a while. And he said, quote, after a while of talking, she told me she lost her husband and that tomorrow would have been their 60th anniversary. I instantly gave my condolences and asked her to come eat with us, which she was excited to do. The point in this is always be kind and be nice to people. You never know what they are going through. This woman changed my outlook on life and how I look at other people. Everyone has a story, so do not judge, end quote. What a great thing to do. An random act of kindness. Love it. And I love that I was able to start the show off with that. Now, as I stated, I had asked Michigan Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Rich Studley if he'd like to come on air to discuss something we discussed 2 days ago. And that was an article that I saw in many papers where Governor Whitmer's is getting key support from the business community and some Republican leaders for their large-scale plans to provide debt-free tuition to high school graduates and other adults who want to learn. So those are those two initiatives, one being tuition-free community college or technical training for non-traditional students. They classify that as 25 and older without an associate's degree or bachelor's degree. They believe that Reconnect program would benefit an estimated 51,000 students starting this summer and cost about $110 million over 2 years. The other one being the Opportunity Scholarship Initiative, which would provide graduating high school students, the class of 2020 and beyond, 3 years or 60 credit hours of tuition at a community college with no means testing, or a 2-year, $2,500 annual scholarship to those attending a 4-year college or university. That one would have some criteria. You'd have to qualify with a minimum of a 3.0 GPA and a household income under $80,000. And if some of you remember me talking about it a couple of days ago, that $2,500 per year for the 2 years will get you about 1 2/3 or 3/4 of a class, because a class is around mid $400 an hour for a credit hour. You do the math. So I saw in the articles that Mr. Studley pledged the group's full, quote, full unequivocal, end quote, backing of her proposals. So welcome to the Live with Renk show, the CEO and Michigan Chamber of Commerce President, Rich Studley. Thanks a lot, Rich, for coming on. I really appreciate that.
Good morning. Glad to be with you, and I love the bumper music.
Oh, you didn't get intimidated when I said when I played that "Let's Get Ready to Rumble"?
Not at all.
I often wonder, because I only played it at the beginning of the show, the first hour, and I often wonder, man, if I play that, people don't really know me. They may think, uh-oh, what is this guy going to be doing to me here? I guess the big overall question first is, why do you and the Michigan Chamber of Commerce support these initiatives?
Well, at the beginning of your show, I love the story you told about the folks in out of state who invited the older woman to sit with them at dinner. And I think sometimes as we wrestle with public policy issues, as we see divided government in Washington, D.C., not working well at all, we can forget a lot of the good news stories right here in Michigan. The good news is that unemployment is very low. Employment is very high. One of the challenges we have, and if you're going to have a challenge or a problem, it's a good one, is that there are about 100,000 job openings in Michigan that require more than a high school diploma, but not a 4-year college degree. When I'm not at my day job at the Michigan Chamber, I'm a member of a board of trustees at Central Michigan University. So I appreciate the value of higher education, and if a young listener of yours wants to go get a college degree, that's great. But a lot of really good job opportunities in Michigan today and tomorrow and next week, next month, next year, and for the foreseeable future don't require a 4-year bachelor's degree. They require high school plus a license, high school plus a certificate, high school plus an associate's degree, and that is the focus of the two policy initiatives our new governor has outlined. Governor Whitmer has proposed the Michigan Reconnect program, which, as you correctly indicated, is for older workers, 25 years or older, often people who might be dislocated workers or in a career transition. And that's basically a reprioritization of existing spending. It is streamlining and consolidating some of the programs that were approved at the end of Governor Snyder's administration. He called it the Marshall Plan. Those job training programs and retraining programs are scattered all over state government. And the intent is to consolidate those programs in the Michigan Department of Talent and Economic Development. The governor is correct, and her proposal has received bipartisan support from senators and representatives on both sides of the aisle in both houses. And so it's an education and workforce readiness challenge. When I grew up in Kalamazoo and Portage had just become a city. A lot of the kids that I went to work with, their parents owned small businesses. They were building the Portage into the city that it is today. They were carpenters and plumbers and electricians and excavators. And today, a lot of young people can grow up and not have any experience working in a business. It's hard to get work-study programs or internships. So this is an opportunity for us to do better, to help Michiganders stay in Michigan, get good jobs that lead to great careers where you can live and work independently and support your family and make a very positive difference in the community. So at the Michigan Chamber, we believe in limited government. We're often not involved in the appropriations process. We tend not to favor higher taxes and more spending, but these programs can be done with existing revenue. Not every policy initiative requires a tax hike. The My Opportunity Scholarship, we did careful study and independent research on that. The legislation that was introduced this past week is very closely patterned after a highly successful program in Tennessee that was proposed by a Republican governor, passed by a conservative legislature, and signed into law in Tennessee with active support from the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the state chamber in Tennessee. I spoke directly with my counterpart, their CEO. He said it was a great program because it is not free college tuition. You have to first apply.
I've got to go to a break, Rich. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to a break. I'm going to come back here, the rest of what he had to say, and I have a few questions for him. You're listening to the Live with Renk show. Appreciate that very much. We'll be right back with Rich Studley from the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. On air with me is the Michigan Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Rich Studley. The other day, he pledged the group's, quote, full and unequivocal, end quote, backing of Governor Whitmer's proposals when it comes to the two education initiative programs she has. We spoke about that, and I invited Rich on to give us some more in-depth, have a more in-depth conversation on why he supports that, and he did quite well in that first segment telling us about that. I had to cut you short because of my hard breaks there. You were talking about Tennessee and how they implemented a program like this. and it was going well, and you spoke to your counterpart there. Can you finish that? And then I have a few questions for you.
The Tennessee State Chamber of Commerce reports that the same program in Tennessee has been affordable. It has produced positive results. We think it's critically important for this legislation to have very clear metrics, a comprehensive annual report. Part of the focus in Tennessee and in Michigan as we go forward will be to involve local and community groups in mentoring and coaching. This is not free college education for people who don't know what they want to do. You cannot, the way the bills are drafted, decide this spring or summer that you want to take a class in foreign language and then take a semester off and come back and take a class in social studies and then take a semester off and take a class in something else. The student has to commit to regular attendance and minimum grades. They have to pay the cost of books and other supplies. They have to pay the cost of transportation to and from. There will be minimum grade requirements. And so anyone who participates in the Michigan Reconnect program and the Michigan Opportunity Scholarship, especially the focus on community college, will have to be successful, have continuous progress, and work toward a license or a degree or a certificate.
Well, you're answering my questions already, Rich, some of them that I've already had for you. I do want to say this, my statement on certainly the trades. I think we have done, and I've been talking about this for years, a disservice to many kids who keep pushing college, four-year college, when there's a lot of great trades out there that people can make a great living at, and maybe they're not suited for college. So I certainly was on board when Governor Snyder was supporting that, and I am on board with Governor Whitmer supporting that. The concern I had was, well, you said about the grades. According to the reporting, all the reporting I read, so that's great that we have you on, get a little bit more detail. The only minimum grade requirement seems to be people who wanted that $2,500 for the first 2 years of college. So you're saying there's minimum grade requirements for the free community college and the other programs?
There are requirements in the bills for continuous progress, and you have to be successful in completing your courses. And so the other thing to remember about this program, bills were introduced in the State House and in the Michigan Senate. One of the reasons we're comfortable in supporting the program is not only the very successful track record of the same program in Tennessee, which is doing a much better job training young people for skilled trades than we are, is that there will be legislative oversight. This program is phased in 3 parts over 3 years. It will be subject to a lot of legislative oversight, a lot of public reporting, and we expect that the bills that have been introduced will have a lot of debate, and I think they'll only get better as they move through the process. But, Renk, you're absolutely correct. A 4-year college degree can be a good choice, but it's not for everyone. Even in the community where I live, in Grand Ledge, we have a great school district. I talked to a small business owner recently. He has 2 employees. He and his wife run the business. He told me he would hire 2 high school graduates tomorrow, but no one wants to learn fine carpentry. This is someone who does remodeling of cabinets and floors, and he just said, unfortunately, I think a lot of kids have gotten the wrong message that if you're going to go on, you need to go to college. And again, that can be a great choice for some, but not others. We must do a better job with K through 12 education and community colleges, making sure that high school graduates have the math and the science and the reading and the communication skills they need. Some school districts do a good job, frankly. Some K through 12 school districts do a poor job. And these programs are intended to help remedy that situation as well.
And it's funny because I was talking to my brother and his wife, who are both in education in high school in a different state, and it came up that getting rid of SHOP and all these other things they thought hurt a lot of the programs that are out there throughout the states. And that's not even talking about from the state of Michigan. Now, I did have a concern about how we're going to pay for it, but I think you addressed it. We don't need to raise taxes to do that. there's discussion of money within the budget, they'll be able to handle this?
The proposed budget for next year, which starts for state government on October 1st, is $60.2 billion. That's billion with a B. We already spend $1 billion per year for K through 12 education. So the challenge we have with school funding is not a lack of government spending, it's a poor return on investment. And we believe that the Michigan Reconnect program and the My Opportunity Scholarship, especially with a focus on community colleges, will be affordable, efficient, and produce very positive results. If it doesn't, I'm confident that lawmakers will pull the plug.
And it looks like we can find that money within it is what I'm hearing. And the other question I had, and I didn't get into the depth in all the articles I read didn't get into the depth, and you touched on it, was should we, skin in the game? And you mentioned that. Do these people have skin in the game? They can't just go and after a half a year just quit and walk away necessarily, or hopefully they'll have some type of you need to complete the semester, or you're going to owe the money back, or something like that. Is that something that the Michigan Chamber of Commerce could be behind?
That was essential to our support. The Michigan Reconnect program for older dislocated workers and the Michigan Opportunity Scholarship, especially with the focus on community colleges, is all about helping Michiganders get the license, the certificate, the additional training, the job skills, the associate's degree they need to get back to work or enter the workforce and be successful. We have members in the construction industry and in manufacturing who have job openings today that they're struggling to fill, and these jobs don't require a four-year college degree. They require good communication skills, good reading skills, a basic knowledge of math and science, and practical application in areas like welding, for example. The news conference we held with the governor was at Lansing Community College, where they have extraordinary facilities, and their focus is on helping people get good jobs and stay in our communities and grow their families and build our cities. And that's what this program is really all about. That's why we're so optimistic and supportive. And
I've got to take another break. I'm sorry about that. You're listening to Live with Renk. Well, I think I can talk to him for a little bit on the other side. If not, appreciate him calling in. You're listening to Live with Renk and Rich Studley from the Michigan Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back. On air with me is Michigan Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Rich Studley, and we're talking about the initiatives that Governor Whitmer has concerning paying for people's education here in the state of Michigan, and the Michigan Chamber of Commerce, as well as other Republican lawmakers being behind it, getting a lot of good information that I didn't have here in any of the reporting I read about it. I wanted to give Rich an opportunity to come back and, give us his final thoughts on this. Again, welcome to the show, Rich. I'll tell you what, too bad there's not oil here in the state of Michigan. I just read a headline in the Wall Street Journal. Typical worker pay nears $200,000 at oil refineries. Wow. I think I'd quit radio and go work on an oil rig for that one.
I know that you appreciate the value of good news. The good news is here in Michigan, our oil and gas industry in northern Michigan can employ up to 30,000 Michiganders when we're at full production. So that's a choice for us. It's also a choice to demand more from our education system and really push forward legislation that encourages workforce readiness and career development. Michigan Chamber is member-driven and policy-focused. Our top three priorities right now in the legislature are to close the skills gap, lower the high cost of car insurance, and fix the roads. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you this morning. I hope this has been helpful to you and your listeners. They can learn more about our work at michamber.com. Our focus is on fighting for free enterprise and encouraging job creation and economic growth. Michigan Chamber members employ over 1 million Michigan residents. So we're all in this together, and we're going to do our very best to keep Michigan moving forward. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you. I hope this was helpful to your listeners.
It was very much so. I appreciate you coming on air, Rich, and appreciate the work you guys do for the state of Michigan, and keep those budget hawks in place up there. Thanks a lot, Rich.
Will do.
You have a great
Take
day.
care.